An inline spinner is a simple fishing lure with a straight wire, a spinner blade, and a hook. The blade spins around the wire to create flash and vibration. These are some of the easiest and most effective baits out there. In this video, we'll be talking about the many variations of inline spinners and what each of them is good for. Inline spinners can have many different kinds of blades. Gold spinner blades are generally best in stained or cloudy water, while silver blades do best in clear water. Spinner blades also come in a variety of baitfish colors like this rainbow trout pattern, and high contrast patterns like this Mepps Black Fury. The Black Fury spinner is commonly thrown in low light conditions, where the contrasting bright and dark areas are easily seen against the water and vegetation. By the way, I'll put links to all of these spinners in the description below so you can check them out if you want to. You'll also find spinners with willow leaf blades instead of just round blades. A willow blade creates less drag and allows inline spinners and spinner baits to run deeper in the water. Use willow bladed baits when targeting fish that are hiding out down deep. You can also add a bit of weight ahead of the spinner to help it run even deeper. Inline spinners are especially effective in streams where they are casted along the edges of the current or along rocks and other structure. Your spinner looks like a minnow getting swept downstream, and it's irresistible to fish. Small Rooster Tails and Mepps aglias are my go-to baits in tough conditions, especially when fishing in streams. If the fish aren't biting these, they probably just aren't biting. The rod and line use for spinners should be as light as possible. Lighter lines and gear will catch more fish and will allow a spinner to work most effectively. A heavy line will affect the lure's action and you will not catch as many fish. The exception to this rule would be big spinners like musky bucktails. These lures are big enough that they will work fine with heavy tackle, but otherwise I would use the lightest setup you can. Also, make sure that your drag isn't set too tight, just in case you hook into a big fish that runs out into the fast current. One really important detail of fishing with inline spinners is that the entire lure tends to spin around, so it will create line twist. To prevent this, you definitely want to add a swivel to your setup, either placed up your line or by using a snap swivel. If you're using a snap swivel, use the smallest one you can for the type of fish you're after, because it can affect the appearance of your spinner. With really small spinners, I would recommend tying directly to the spinner and adding a small swivel about a foot up your line. This helps keep your spinner looking as natural as possible. When you cast a spinner, pay attention to the way it feels as you retrieve the bait and the amount of pull that it has on your rod. If your retrieve gets too slow or you get some junk caught on your spinner blade, it will feel very different, and that tells you that it's not working properly. Plastic trailers are generally not added to inline spinners like they are with spinner baits because you can't really balance one on a treble hook. Many spinners have dressed hooks, which means that they have a skirt of hair included around the hook. Others come with a custom trailer like you see on this Mepps Comet or this Blue Fox minnow spin. But there is one style of spinner that you can add trailers to, and that's the single hook spinner like this one. A single hook spinner works great with a trailer, and it can really improve the appearance and effectiveness of the bait. A simple paddle tail minnow or a plastic grub can make a really big difference. These spinners are also far more weedless than a treble hook spinner, especially if you Texas rig the trailer. Another option for weedless spinners is to grab one that has a wide plastic or rubber trailer that covers the hook points. This one is a Mepps Weedmaster, and this one here is a less Davis Bolo spinner. You can see how both of these baits cover the hook points to deflect plants away. These are very effective baits when looking for bass, pike, or muskie in heavily vegetated areas. Inline spinners are excellent and essential baits to keep in your tackle box. If you are just starting to build your tackle collection, I would recommend starting with a couple of small spinners like Rooster Tails or a Mepps number 1 or number 2, and two larger spinners like this Mepps number 5 in a gold and silver pattern. I've also had great luck with Mepps Comets, so if you have room for another, I'd grab one of these. Choose a trailer pattern that matches something that fish in your area would typically feed on. In my case, it's mostly shiners and perch, so most of my spinners tend to be these two patterns. Check the video description for a one-on-one kayak fishing tournament video where northern pike are destroying my number 5 Mepps Comet, and my opponent eventually gives in and switches to a Comet himself. Thanks a lot for watching, and let us know what your favorite inline spinner is.